Mufti Sahib, what do you say in regards to those who go off the view that Halloween is haram based on... Do you know, Hussein, I'm glad you asked this question, because look, the thing is, you know, it's... People have quoted this وَمَنْ تَشَبَّهَ بِقَوْمٍ hadith for way too long, and they've gone unquestioned, which is unacceptable, really, because the hadith, when you look at it, right, in its entirety, and I had somebody today, oh, here's my Jan Layla going to sleep. Sorry. Soja. So the thing is, now, the thing is that, look, somebody quoted this today. They tried to write some refutation against me, saying, oh my God, Abu Layth, you know, when they hate me, they will never use the word Mufti. Abu Layth said that Imam Sakhawi didn't even declare this hadith to be authentic. Oh, well, look at this. And he comes out with all these acrobatic kind of movements to show that Sakhawi said this was Hasan li ghayrihi. Well, Hasan li ghayrihi is still not Sahih. Okay, so when authentic is Sahih. So, I mean, hello. But even then, I want to come back to... I seriously challenge these brothers, all of these people, all women, right? I've even called them brothers, and I don't do that. I don't like this rhetoric of brother and sister, but I'll even call them... I challenge all these Molvis and Molanas and these religious kind of control freaks to teach, to embrace the full hadith, that full hadith. Don't be deceptive. Don't use this snippet of the hadith. The hadith has 4 sentences to it. It's one incident, one hadith. Quote all of the hadith. God damn it. Let me tell you what the hadith is. Okay, the hadith says, the Prophet ﷺ in this hadith, if you accept this hadith to be sahih, he says that بُعِثْتُ بِالسَّيْفِ حَتَّى يُعْبَدَ اللَّهِ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ. I have been sent with a sword to butcher people, to kill them until Allah is worshipped and none other than Him, with no partners. وَجُعِلَ رِزْقِي تَحْتَ ظِلِّ رُمَحِي. And my rizq, my provision, my food has been written in the shade, under the shade, placed under the shade of my spear. Meaning that through warfare, we will tear through the grounds, waging war against the people. And through that, we will take their possessions and become, that is our rizq. Right, that's the second sentence of the hadith. Then the third sentence, the Prophet allegedly said, وَكُتِبَ الذُّلُّ وَالصَّغَارُ عَلَى مَنْ خَالَفَ أَمْرِي. And any who dispute my affair, destined for them, what has been written for them is humiliation and subordination. That they will be subdued and they will be humiliated, any who dispute my affair, the Prophet allegedly said. And then he said, the final sentence, وَمَنْ تَشَبَّهَ بِقَوْمٍ فَهُوَ مِنْهُمْ. And if you resemble the people, then you are amongst them. Now quote, stand on your mimbars and read this hadith. Why the double standards? Why do you reject 3/4 of the hadith? You either refuse to read it, you refuse to teach it, you don't even accept it. You say, oh no, I don't accept the front part. I don't accept that the Prophet came to kill people until they... I don't accept that. That can't be literal. Oh, it must have been for a particular war incident. Oh, it must have been for this. Oh, the hadith ain't sahih. Oh, this... But when it comes to the final part, you want to superimpose that upon the entire Muslim global community. So I ask you, be consistent, people. Consistency. So that's my response to these zealots, okay, these religious... I do refer to some of these control freaks sometimes as religiotards, but not... I don't want to kind of be debasing here. So these zealots, That's my challenge to them. Embrace this hadith. Be consistent in your argument. Don't be deceptive. Don't be sly. That's my princess. Mwah. Right, Layla. Assalamu alaikum. ठीक है अभी आप पापा अभी काम कर रहे हैं आप जाओ ठीक है all right so the thing is now so I just wanted to highlight that, okay? So I want you guys to be aware of these kind of, when people get a bit crafty, like they don't, you know, they're going to cover up 3/4 of a hadith and just show 1/4. Show it all. Be honest. You know, put your money where your mouth is. Okay. Those of you who haven't read my article on Halloween or Halloween, it's on my notes in Facebook. I just wanted to say as well that, look, that I think my issue was not that we should go out, and I think some people may have misunderstood me. My issue was not we should go out trick-or-treating, or we should go out partying, or buying stuff, or doing things like this, or we should condone, you know, kind of like messed up behavior, broken arrow, and you don't have a sword prayer. Allah, Julio, inshallah, inshallah. Right, so the thing is, my issue wasn't that. People say, oh my God, people party on Halloween, and there's fornication, and there's this, and there's that, and how can you... You see, first of all, stop mixing up the issue, okay? My point was not we should... I personally think Halloween is a bit dumb. That's my personal... I mean, I have no issue with people doing it, especially at a young age. I think they enjoy it. It's fun in schools and stuff like that. But I mean, beyond that, I don't see much point to it apart from just people wasting a bit of time and having some presumed fun. Now, my point was, since when did this become an issue of religion? See, I don't personally, I personally accept it could be it's a waste of time, or it could, you know, we shouldn't buy into all this commercialized aspect and all of these things. But since when did this become an issue of religion? Why do we superimpose Islam on everything? We impose it on everything. You know, we want... we can't even, like, everything has to be Islamic. Oh my God, my mug is un-Islamic. It resembles... it's a pass. But the point is, like, everything is, like, we've become so artificial in this kind of synthetic Islam that we have. Halloween, oh my God, this is a religion of paganism. I heard somebody say, oh, people may start worshipping the devil. I thought, are you for real? People might start worshipping the devil. I mean, are you seriously for real? Is this the level of intelligence that we have amongst this, you know, amongst the learned people of this ummah, that people might start... I mean, are you for goddamn real? How on earth are people going to start worshipping the devil? I mean, what the hell is wrong with you? Goddamn. So, that is what bothered me. I shared an example, one of the Rajabiyah, and I wanted to share this with you, that the Rajabiyah was... You see, people, before Islam came, when the month of Rajab would come, they used to call it the Atira. They would sacrifice an animal with a particular ritual. They wouldn't feed on it and stuff like this. They would take this young camel or a sheep, whatever, sacrifice it to their pagan gods, who would then bless their wealth for that coming year. Now, what happened is the belief around this started to disappear, but the custom remained. So when Islam came, the Prophet was asked, what shall we do about Atira, this Rajabiyah? And he said, look, if you want to do it, if you want to sacrifice it, do it. If you don't, don't. Man sha'a attar wa man sha'a lam yu'attar. Now that's the hadith. An even better example, and I wanted to quote this, was the aqiqah. And I say this because, look, don't buy into, it's very clear, it's very clear that the aqiqah was nothing to do with the Abrahamic faith or any, don't buy into any of this nonsense that people are saying. It's very clear in the books of hadith. Aisha radiallahu anha explains it, Buraidah explains it, the Sahaba explain it, Imam Abu Hanifa was, all these people very clear. This was an act of jahiliyyah, of pagan, of Arab paganism. They believed that when a baby was born, that this baby would be impacted by evil spirits and demons who would cause the baby to have an infantile death. So the baby would die whilst it's still young. The only way to prevent that and save that was to make an offering to the gods as the baby was born. They would then get this offering. They would do, if it was a boy, because they loved boys more, they would sacrifice 2 sheep. And if it was a girl, they would sacrifice 1. And they would kill the animal, sacrifice it to the pagan gods, and then they would get the blood of the animal and they would dip some cloth in it and then rub that, smear that over the forehead of the child. And they would, and with this they would ward off the evil spirits. Okay, now Islam comes along and these beliefs seem to have dissipated over time. But the practice remains. So people are still sacrificing an animal. They know what the beliefs were about because they speak about them. Buraidah mentions it in a hadith. Aisha mentions it in a hadith. That, they used to do this because they believed in the evil spirit. They knew what it's about, but people stopped believing in them as much. But they carried out the practice still. And they used to get the blood, to smear the forehead of the child with it. Now along comes Islam. And when they asked the Prophet, what should we do about this? And the Prophet said that Yasin al-Fasi, that's got to be done with the silham. Now the thing is, they asked the Prophet, what should we do? And the Prophet said, there's no problem with it. He himself did it for Hassan and Hussein. And he said, instead of blood, he said, don't smear it with blood. I mean, how paganistic is that? Smearing a child's forehead with blood. So the Prophet said, don't do that. I tell you what, use colour instead. So they used to use saffron. Now, and the Arabs were closer. Their Islam was new. They were closer to paganism than we are to this 2,000-year-old ritual of worshipping, or not worshipping, reaching out to the ghosts and the monsters that the Celtic people used to believe in, right? Or whoever it was that initially celebrated Halloween. Now, the Arabs were very close because they were the first Muslim community. So if there was a fear of them falling into that worship again, it was greater then. Yet the Prophet said there's no problem with this. Yes, some madhabs like Imam Shafi'i considered it to be a sunnah. Imam Malik did not. Neither did Imam Abu Hanifa. Imam Malik said there may be some reward in it because you give out meat to people and you feed, and there's some goodness in that. But he then denied any discrimination between the genders. Imam Malik refused to accept that. He said it's the same for a boy and a girl. Imam Abu Hanifa said there is zero reward in this action. If you do it, it's like, should I drink grapefruit juice today? Or should I drink lemonade today? Or what? It's just mubah, it's just permissible, it's not haram. But none of them said it was haram, which is interesting. So my point was, if you can get a pagan practice like that, which involves smearing the head of a child with blood and offerings to pagan gods, and because it loses its belief, and it's just a custom, a community custom with some festivity, and Islam, the Prophet says, well, hey, the Prophet says there's no problem with this. He partakes in it. Then what is the issue? That was my point in saying, why are we making such a big deal about things like Halloween and so on? And then people say, well, where do you draw the line? What do you mean, where do you draw the line? What kind of a pathetic question is that? I'm talking about Halloween. People say, oh, well, what about Christmas? I've answered Christmas previously, and I've said the same thing. That, look, I do not believe when you are speaking to non-Muslims, yes, Muslims amongst themselves, because Christmas still has a very strong Christian element to it. We do not celebrate the Christian festivals as a religious festival. We do not celebrate Christmas as Muslims. But to respond to non-Muslims with Merry Christmas is permissible. I'm not alone. Several ulama around the world have said that, including people like Sheikh Abdullah bin Bayya, including people like Yusuf Qardawi, and many other ulama all around the world have said that. Okay, that there's no harm in saying, responding to non-Muslims with Merry Christmas to you too. So, I mean, I don't know what the big... And sticking up a Christmas tree I don't personally see as haram. Right, I don't see. I mean, it's a kind of superimposed symbol upon Christianity. It's not a symbol of Christianity per se. It was actually to do with the Roman Empire that's kind of merged it in and amalgamated the symbol. And many Muslims do that. Many Muslims, you know, their kids kind of get all excited with the Christmas tree and they see other people doing it and they want to do it. I don't personally do it, but I don't see when we were kids. Young kids, when we were being, and I say young, when we were about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8. I remember we did used to have a Christmas tree. When I get some kufr fatwa now. But I grew up like just normal. I didn't grow up necessarily in a religious household, right? But the thing is, we never ever thought, oh my God, we're now Christians. We never thought that. You know, like, my parents never thought, oh my God, okay, they can have a Christmas tree because everybody's got a Christmas tree and they're feeling a bit, you know, they want to kind of do... They never thought, oh my God, they're going to become Christians now. And I just find this, we have to superimpose Islam on everything. Like, everything. And we just want to control people. Like, I have a view and I want to control the whole damn world with it. You know, it's like, get over it, man. Like... You have no, you know, one serious issue we have, and I'm sorry to go on about this as a rant, but as Muslims, is that we feel we have a right on other people. We don't. You know, it's like people could be on a different continent to you. They could be from a different race to you. They could speak a different language to you, eat different food, have a different upbringing, and the only thing they share with you is a religion, and you all of a sudden feel you have a right to tell them off. Like, who the hell are you? Like, why do you have this right to tell people off? And you don't. The other person, they're a person. And this only happens in the Muslim community. You don't see Christians doing that. You don't see, oh, but akhi, we have akhi. Amar bil ma'roof wa nahy anil munkar. I mean, what the hell is wrong with people? Amar bil ma'roof. Right, or command the good. Who the hell sent you to command the good? God damn it. What do you even know about the good? Define the good to me that you're going to command. I mean, where do you even learn what's good? And I thought there was the divine commandment theory, so I thought there was no good. No such thing as good except what God has commanded. We just call that good. So in that case, what has God commanded? Do you even know the Sharia? Do you even know fiqh? Do you even know the differences of opinion? So, God,